Hello everyone, I'm the Panda Photographer. Here's my experience dealing with and living in New York City. For the last couple of months, it has been neutral, but the crime rate, the crime activity has spiked so much. In my experience, I've been robbed personally, and as a YouTuber, as a documentarian, as a photographer, it is very difficult to try to do my job and worry about the consequences. Now, I want to speak to the people of New York City. Sometimes it's very unfair for you to judge me on stereotypes based on what facts that you do not know. I just want to clarify, not everyone that is houseless or homeless, there's two definitions of that, are in the same category. Someone that's houseless that has a job can afford the high expensive rent here in New York City. Someone that is chronically homeless chooses to be homeless, chooses to do whatever they do on the streets, either good or bad things. Now, I want people in New York City to know that my experience has been, like I said, neutral. And honestly, I feel like you guys need to open up a little bit better. You guys are supposed to communicate. It's 8.8 million people living in this city. Not everyone is skin of color. Not everyone is bilingual. Not everyone speaks French, Japanese. But I expect better from you. I expect you guys to adapt and to get along a little bit better. But what I have seen so far, and not from the footage I have captured, but what I have seen personally has been racism, stereotyping, accusing people of doing things they have not done, which happens to me personally. Not only that, I tried to do this documentary and try to fulfill an obligation to my audience. Try to bring some light to the characters in New York City. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect person either, but you also have to understand I'm only doing my job as a documentarian and as a photographer. I'm only trying to rise up, not rise down. All I'm trying to give you guys is a sense of what I see on the streets of New York City. Now, this documentary has been taking me some time to make because everything I'm shooting isn't raw. And not only that, I don't have the luxury to just spend money on hostels and hotels all the time. And mind you, I'm doing everything while I'm outside, trying to gather as much information, as much footage as possible. Sorry for the background noise. But I am in Thompson Square Park, which is in the East Village. I've been sleeping around this particular area because long ago I used to live in this area. Yes, I used to live in New York City. And for the definition, for all you want to know, I was actually born in this city. So, in other terms, I was raised elsewhere. But I want to give you guys a sense of morality that not everyone that is homeless fits the description that you think that they might be doing something bad or it's drug related or the reason why you're homeless is because of drugs and alcohol. I That's not my case. It's financial. So look at the bigger picture, ask questions before you assume things, and we could get along much better. But I expect better from New York City. I was living in San Francisco for 8 months. That was terrifying. So for me to come from Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, Wisconsin, San Francisco, Chicago, to New York, went to Boston, went to DC, come back to New York City. I feel like New York City could do better than all these other cities, except for Chicago, because I feel like Chicagoans can do better too, and there are some really good people there as well. So take everything what I say with a grain of salt. What's up, Panda Nation? This is Panda again. This time, we are not going to do the live stream together this time around. She is not willing to do the live stream to talk about it at this time. So, I'm going to talk about something different. So, I'm going to talk about Jacob Blake. And since the African community, or Black lives in the community, want to really stress the fact that he was gunned down 7 times, I'm going to say this. I don't think anyone should be shot 7 times in the back. So let me first make that disclaimer. No one should be shot 7 times in the back. So, but with that said, guys, I want to talk about the history of Jacob Blake. So let's go back to May 2020, where he was at a party with a female friend. Now, this female, the victim, which was raped, he has third-degree sexual assault charges, which is rape. And the definition of Wisconsin, it is rape. But what you guys don't understand is that this goes back into May 20th when he actually assaulted a woman after a party that they were both at. And what happened is that she made a statement saying that in the police report, that when he gets drunk, and this happens twice a year, he tries to insult her. But this time, she goes home, she has a child, mind you, and she's in the bed. Next you know, she's in the bed with her child, mind you, with her child. She wakes up, standing over her is Jacob Blake. And he starts, and I'm not going to actually use the words, you guys use your best judgment as an adult what happened next. Then after he was done, she was all scanted and very belligerent. At the time, she got herself together and realized that he also took her bank card and her car keys. He made 2 transactions. Not only that he did commit rape, but he also committed burglary, robbery on top of that. Now, the original statement stated that 2 women called, but actually 1 woman, the victim, called the original phone call. Now, between May and now, Jacob Blake has been harassing her. He's been warned. On July 7, 2020, the warning was issued. That's when Jacob Blake was either hiding or knew that he had a warrant out for his arrest for breaking the restraining order, no contact with the victim, which he has done twice. So, guys, what are you out there committing these protests, these riots, this vandalism for? This is a man that raped a woman among a child next to her in the bed. That should alarm you. And not only that, he has a history of doing this. So, the report is out. It's finally officially out there. It's in every newspaper, every news article. There's no denying it. This man was a danger to all of us. And the safety of his own children. But this is Wisconsin. They let him go out of bail. But what about the victim? No one's talking about the victim. You got these basketball NBA players wearing shirts saying Jacob Blake. Are you serious right now? Are you serious? You got celebrities out there endorsing a rapist. That's really damaging to a lot. To athletes that are professional that's supposed to take precautions. As a celebrity, you're supposed to take precautions and read the facts first before representing a tragedy. What happened to Mr. Blake was unfortunate, and no one should be shot 7 times. But when you don't comply, and when you are under arrest, by the way, yes, he was under arrest. He refused to comply. He reached down his card, and the end result was his own doing. But no one talks about the victim. No one talks about her. What about the justice for her? Since a bunch of you supporters supported Jacob Blake and raised $2 million
What about the victim that is traumatized by this whole situation? What about her? Have to live with this damaging life experience for the rest of her life, and you guys are supporting this man that put her and her child in danger. Yes, she called the police, she did the right thing. Would you too? As a male or female, doesn't matter. Males could be raped too. But no one's talking about the female's perspective or justice for her. That's unfair. So what is it? Now men are allowed to do what they want to women and get away with it? We should make a stand for that. And that's what I'm trying to apply here. So with that said, everyone, make sure that you read the facts. As I said in my videos before, Jacob Blake is not such an innocent person. He put himself at risk. And he caused a lot of people a lot of heartaches. Just like the man, no one's talking about the man that got hit with a brick. African American hits a man with a brick. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about. No one's talking about an apology for all the rioting and looting that took place in Chicago after people suggested that the police shot a young black man, and the video showed that he shot himself. But like I said, what about the victim that Jacob Blake caused so much traumatic stress and now has to go to therapy, counseling? She probably can't sleep at night because of it. You guys are supporting this man when you're supposed to be supporting her. She's the victim here. She's the one that called the police for her child and for her safety. And you guys are out there looting and causing vandalism. To me, it doesn't make sense. But this it definitely explains a lot of characteristics among all the protesters out there. What are you really fighting for? Do you understand what you're fighting for? 2 men get shot by a young man, 17-year-old gunman, all because of this Jacob Blake situation, because no one understood the facts. No one took the time out to read the news or try to put pieces together themselves to try to make common sense. But instead, everybody wanted to, another white versus black situation. Listen, guys, please just read the facts before you go out there and start doing, because that's your life. Now you out there and you on camera. It's a federal offense. It's domestic terrorism, mind you. When you loot and you vandalism and you riot, oh yeah. But keep in mind, you put yourselves out there. You put yourselves at jeopardy. I'm not going to read the comments. Just going to let this fly. But with that said, Jacob Blake here, and a lot of people are calling foul. NBA stars, celebrities, or yeah. I don't see why are you guys fighting for a man that could have done this to any woman and child at any given time. And even after he was told not to get in contact with her, he still stalked her and harassed her. With that said, everyone, I'm Panda Photographer. I'm a photographer, but I'm also a documentarian. I also want to actually bring the light to the black community, to make sure they understand what they're really fighting for. As I said, I don't support Black Lives Matter, but I support the definition. With that said, everyone, I want everyone to stay home and be safe. Just be safe out there. Don't go out there and cause no problems. Fight for what is really right. And I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King Jr. is pretty disappointed at this time. Watching you guys do all this stuff. The very thing he fought for, you guys are losing grip of it.